This must stop. The majority leader has been using this to intimidate the backbench. He is a leader of this house. He shouldn't be doing this. And when it gets to the minority leader, he now takes the stage to be intimidating and directing. We don't know him as a bully. We don't know him as a bully. That's not his training. He should allow the minister to answer the question. When committed, promised 1.5 billion for the agro sector and made provision for 924 million in the estimate. So don't let us go there. Mr. Speaker, don't let us go there. Don't lead yourself into temptation. The same thing with their big push. They should give proper assurances. They say one thing and do another. It's only talk government. They say women banking only gave 51 million.
Honorable Minority Leader, your supplementary question.
Yes, Mr. Please. Speaker. They don't keep their promises. Mr. Speaker,
Mr. Speaker, the minority leader should learn to behave properly in this chamber. He should learn to behave properly in this chamber. Please, let's treat each other with respect. Please, you cannot stand here and just point accusing finger and say they don't keep their promises. This is a government that so far has kept every promise that it has made to Ghanaians. Every promise that we have made to Ghanaians, we have kept. Every promise we have kept. We said we will appoint not more than 60 ministers. We have done so. We said we will do that. We said we are going to abolish taxes. We have abolished the taxes. Every single thing that we've said we will do, we are doing. Go out there and conduct a survey. Every Ghanaian you ask say that they have confidence in John Dramani Mahama and the government, and that they are happy because they have seen that this is a government that keeps its promises. So you cannot stand here and just throw your fingers and then point at us and say we don't keep our promises. The budget has just been brought. We have not yet even considered it. We have not yet even approved it. The budget has just been brought. We have not yet even considered it. We have not yet even approved it for us to implement our promises. You cannot always stand up and talk as if you are more than anybody in this chamber. Make this your last time. Make this your last time.
To mislead the House. Leader of government business, who I so much respect, was on his feet to mislead the House. He was not up on a point of order against a question which was yet to be asked. But he talked about proper behavior. But his
Honorable
approach,
Minority
Mr. Speaker,
Leader.
I need to finish. Mr. Speaker, I need to finish.
Honorable Minority
Mr.
Leader.
Speaker, I need to finish.
Once again,
Mr. Speaker, I
will
need to
you
finish.
ask a supplementary question?
Asking my supplementary question. However, I need your leave to respond to certain matters that have gone into the record of this House, which matters were raised by the majority leader. And it is my right, far right, to respond to these because he introduced them. Mr. Speaker, if the majority leader talks about improper behavior, I dare say that his is worse. Because he's saying that his government has kept all promises. Even appointing ministers, you gave a promise last week. The 4 that are remaining, you are refusing to. You can't. Which promise have you kept? Which promise have you kept? You said 30% of women. Have you complied with the affirmative action law? You come here and then you say you kept your promise. What promise have you kept? Then you say improper behavior. Yours is worse. Women in banking, only 51 million. Agriculture, agriculture, the farmers, the poor farmers in the north, the poor farmers in the south. What promises didn't you give? Today, you only allocate a paltry sum for the agro sector. The 924 million, a chunk of it goes into compensation. What is the Minister of Agri going to do? A redundant minister? What about your big push? Nothing. And you say you kept your promises. You've not kept your promises. You've not kept your promises. This government is even becoming a lame duck. This government is even becoming a lame duck. If elections are held today, you lose.
You are welcome to Community News. Please subscribe to the channel if you've watched to this far. So Ghana's Parliament reconvened on Tuesday, May 27th, 2025, marking the commencement of the second meeting of the first session of the 9th Parliament of the 4th Republic. Prior to this, Parliament had gone on recess after concluding the first meeting of its first session on March 28, 2025, following the approval of the 2025 budget. So today I will bring you a comprehensive summary of the year's key parliamentary events, including the budget presentation, the President's State of the Nation address, budget debates, and the performance of Minority Leader Alexander Afenyo-Markin and Majority Leader Ayariga from January to March 28, 2025. So from January to March 28, 2025. Okay. So in January 2025, Ghana Parliament was actively engaged in critical activities following the December 2024 general election and the inauguration of President John Dramani Mahama. So as we are all aware, the current president now in the Republic of Ghana is John Dramani Mahama, and on the 7th January 2025, he was inaugurated as the new president of Ghana. So on January 7th, 2025, the 9th Parliament of the 4th Republic was inaugurated. Agban was re-elected as Speaker with support from both National Democratic Congress and the New Patriotic Party, the NPP. The NDC secured a majority with 183 seats, and the minority, which is the NPP, had 88 seats, and 4 seats were held by independents. Now let's watch a video of President John Dramani Mahama's inauguration.
To take and subscribe to the oath of allegiance and the presidential oath. Your Excellency, you may now proceed to do so.
Kindly say after me. This is the oath of allegiance. I. Your name.
John Dramani Mahama.
Do in the name of the Almighty God swear.
Do in the name of the Almighty God swear.
That I will bear true faith.
That I will bear true faith.
And allegiance.
And allegiance.
To the Republic of Ghana.
To the Republic of Ghana.
As by law established.
As by law established.
That I will uphold.
And that I will uphold.
The sovereignty.
The sovereignty.
And integrity.
And integrity.
Of Ghana.
Of Ghana.
And that I will preserve.
And that I will preserve.
Protect.
Protect.
And defend.
And defend.
The Constitution.
The Constitution.
Of the Republic of Ghana.
Of the Republic of Ghana.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Your Excellency, now the presidential oath.
I, John Dramani Mahama,
Having been elected
to
the high office of President of the Republic of Ghana, do in the name of the Almighty God swear that I will be faithful and true to the Republic of Ghana, that I will at all times preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, and that I dedicate myself to the service and well-being of the people of the Republic of Ghana, and to do right to all manner of persons. I further solemnly swear that should I at any time break this oath of office, I shall submit myself to the laws of the Republic of Ghana and suffer the penalty for it. So help me God. Congratulations, Mr. President. Let me be the first.
So before 7th January 2025, Parliament passed a provisional budget. This budget was supposed to be passed in December 2024, but then there was a little bit issues with the outgoing governance, which is the MPP. So it delayed and it was passed on the January 3rd, 2025. So a total of 68.1 billion, which is $4.65 billion to fund government operations through March. So this move averted a potential government shutdown and allocated nearly 1/3 of the funds to address energy sector arrears, exceeding 2.5 billion. So the passage of provisional budget to was approved in January 2025. So to continue with January, President Mahama, before the elections, promised that he's going to work with 60 ministers. So in January, he started appointing the ministers that he is going to work with, and the first person that he appointed was the finance minister. So in January, Parliament focused on vetting President Mahama's ministerial nominees. By January 30th, 2024, 42 ministers had been vetted and sworn in, including key appointments such as Keziato Forsin as finance minister and Haruna Idrisu as educational minister. So let's watch a bit of the ministerial vetting and the swearing in of the ministers by Mahama. But first, let's watch the vetting.
Refer to how you felt about it and how your wife felt about it. I think Chairman largely addressed the issue in another way, which was acceptable to me, because we're all having our own challenges that we couldn't have communicated. But I think the effect of my political statement was to the effect that our side had no proper understanding of yesterday's arrangement. However, let me unconditionally apologize to your wife for how my press statement conference came about. I mean, how she felt about it. I mean, I'll feel bad if somebody said something about my own wife, and it's fair. All right, these are no ego matters. So I'm sorry to your dear wife, and how my press conference, you have expressed concern about the state of the public purse, the state of the economy, and the need for us as public officers to be mindful of costs. Can you, without prejudice, assure the nation that true to those values you hold dear, you will consistently fly economy, make it a policy at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to fly economy and nothing more?
In my private capacity, when I'm traveling, I fly business. And so if it is a policy of President Mahama's government that ministers should now travel economy because of the state of the economy, I am happy to do that. And if I can top up with my own resources, as I have been doing already in my private travels, I do travel business, not first class, business. I'm happy to do that. But as I said earlier, in this discussion, we must be more nuanced about it. I believe we can even achieve more savings with the size of delegations, with frequency of travels, with even the kind of airlines,
Please,
that we use.
Honorable nominee, you know, in the past, this whole perception that leader keeps nominees for a long time. I would try to be very specific. So limit yourself as well so that you don't create more room for follow-ups, which would make your guests uncomfortable and your party members may think I have some personal agenda. So please pay attention and let's have a good conversation. So just to rephrase it, would you want to take a personal decision to fly economy, even if government policy is for you to fly business?
I don't see what that achieves. It's totally unnecessary. I will save costs on travels using other mechanisms. I'll watch the size of delegation. I'll make sure that the kind of airlines will always go for what is competitive, and even per diems and all of those, the kind of hotels and all. There are many ways that we can save money, and those are the matters I will pursue, and we will save even more money for the country. I really don't see where this economy discussion is going to.
No. Please, your question, please. Any other question?
You have become aware that the President of the Republic, our President, recently traveled to Gambia and the Republic of Senegal by using his brother's private jets. You become aware of that, correct?
Yes.
You are aware that as public servants, we are measured by certain standards, which standards you have a strong view on. Do you think that although there is no direct cost on the states, it is inappropriate for the President of the Republic to be flying on official duties with his brother's private jets?
I have long advocated for the need for Ghana to have a presidential travel policy. And I've said that even in cabinet is a matter that I will pursue. And so the ideal situation, if we have a presidential travel policy, in some countries they've even, passed them, enacted them into law, where there are clear guidelines and the do's and don'ts. But now, it doesn't exist, and any day, the good people of Ghana will go for a free, brother trip as compared to a 20,000 euros an hour chartered jet, where the Ghanaian taxpayer suffers.
You were not doing any other business. You were solely dependent on your salary, correct?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, as my primary source of income.
Did you have the benefit of any secondary source of income?
Mr. Chairman, I'm married to a very industrious woman.
No, I don't get it. Please explain.
I'm married to an industrious woman.
Okay, so please explain to her. If you say you are married to an industrious woman and that is the source of your secondary income, what exactly do you mean?
I mean, my wife takes care of me.
Very well. So, industrious woman, she takes care of you. Are you suggesting that she also paid your school fees for your UK program?
Mr. Chairman, I believe that this committee has asked me to furnish them records of my fees that were paid. I believe that I don't see where we're going with this. Thank you.
No, with the greatest respect, honorable nominee, I continue to treat you with respect. If you say you don't see, yours is to answer. If you need guidance, please seek guidance from the chair. If chair allows my question, and you want to say you don't see, where I follow up based on what you say. I never asked you about your wife. I never asked you about her business. You said your wife takes care of you. These are your words. Yes. You say your wife is an industrious woman. Yes. These are your words. Yes. And that is your secondary source of income. These are your words. Yes. So, are you aware whether your wife, through her industry, has been paying her taxes? Have you become aware of it?
Mr. Chairman, those are my wife's. Please. That is personal to your wife. Yes. My wife. So, with all due respect.
Do in the name of the Almighty God swear that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Republic of Ghana as by law established, that I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of Ghana, and that I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. So help me God. We now move to the oath of a Minister of State, and it follows the same pattern. I, having been appointed Minister of State of the Republic of Ghana, do in the name of the Almighty God swear that I would at all times well and truly serve the Republic of Ghana in the office of Minister of State, and that I will uphold, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana as by law established, and that I will, to the best of my judgment, at all times, when required, freely give my counsel and advice for the good management of the public affairs of the Republic of Ghana, and that I will not directly or indirectly reveal any matters that shall come to my knowledge in the discharge of my duties and committed to my secrecy as Minister of State. So help me God. Now you take the oath of secrecy, and it follows the same pattern, but this time you mention the office that you have been assigned to. So I, holding the office of do in the name of the Almighty God swear that I will not directly or indirectly communicate or reveal to any person any matter which shall be brought under my consideration or shall come to my knowledge in the discharge of my official duties, except as may be required for the discharge of my official duties or as may be specially permitted by law. So help me God. Congratulations.
So we continue with, we move to February 2025, which legislative work continued, and then international engagement. So Mahama also swore in some of the appointees as we watched in the previous videos. Okay, so on February 7, 2025, an additional 14 ministers were sworn in, completing the formation of President Mahama's cabinet. So notable appointments include Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa and Foreign Affairs Minister Kwabena Minta-Akando as Health Minister. We've already watched the video, so we proceed to the State of the Nation address, which was held in February 2025. So President John Dramani Mahama delivered his State of the Nation's address in February 2025, shortly after being sworn in for the third term. He emphasized the need to reset the nation and focusing on economic recovery, job creation, anti-corruption measures. Mahama highlighted the critical situation in the energy sector, with arrears exceeding 2.5 billion, and pledged to address the erratic power supply affecting the country.
Years ago, in 1996, I took my first steps in public service when I was elected to this August House as a member of Parliament for the Bolland constituency. For 12 memorable years, I forged many enduring friendships and alliances while working with colleagues from both sides of the House to shape Ghana's legislative agenda and advance the development of our beloved country, Ghana. It has also been nearly a decade since I said goodbye to this House after delivering what many, including myself, thought at the time would be my final address to Parliament. God Almighty, Providence, and the unpredictability of life have summoned me here once again. On the back of a historic electoral mandate from the people of Ghana to deliver a message on the state of the nation. That mandate came with an unprecedented majority in Parliament. And here I am once again to deliver a message on the state of the nation. Mr. Speaker, I wish to convey my heartfelt gratitude to Parliament for the prompt vetting and approval of my nominees for ministerial positions. This efficiency is unmatched in the history of the Fourth Republic, demonstrating the strides we can make when we come together in our dedication to serve the people of our great country. I believe that a similar dispatch will be applied to the approval process for my deputy ministerial nominees. This will enable them to promptly assume office and assist their ministers in delivering our noble vision of resetting our dear nation. In making the nominations and considering the numbers involved, I consider the long expressed sentiment of the Ghanaian people about the sheer size of previous administrations and their associated cost implications. I trust that this significant reduction to 60 ministers and deputy ministers, including regional ministers, will set the stage for further reductions in the size of future governments. With the inauguration of the Council of State, we can begin appointing the staff of the presidency. I intend to significantly reduce the number of staff compared to what existed under previous administrations. All this is aimed at leading by example in cutting down government expenditure and reducing the budget deficit. Let me begin, Mr. Speaker, by invoking the timeless words of the hymnist John Oatman Jr., who encourages us to count our blessings and name them one by one. Yes, we're a nation troubled on many fronts, but we also have many blessings, among which is a now firmly established democracy that, for all its imperfections, has enabled 4 peaceful transfers of power in our land. Nestled in a sub-region that is often plagued by strife and political instability, there's a good reason to take sober satisfaction that these successful, peaceful power transfers have become routine. Mr. Speaker, 50 days ago, I took the solemn oath to assume leadership of this country and serve with truth and humility. This was preceded a month earlier by a watershed election that promised to revive our nation's fortunes and give us a new lease of life. The election result gave us an important opportunity to change course and move off the slippery slopes our country had been descending that had caused so much economic pain, suffering, and grief to our people. In their collective wisdom and with resounding clarity, the Ghanaian people chose to chart a new path to reset the country's economy. And through their votes, they made it clear that they will henceforth demand the highest standards of governance from those they put in positions of leadership. The good people of Ghana elected me to office with a historic electoral margin of nearly 1.7 million votes. Separating me from my next opponent, giving Ghanaians the first female vice president, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman. For the National Democratic Congress, NDC, that resounding victory is a selfless call to duty from a people who are tired of years of economic hardship and poor governance. That call therefore places an obligation on us and all who serve, including legislators from both sides of the House, to do our utmost with decency and humility to change the circumstances and the state of our country. Mr. Speaker, as I stated earlier, Article 67 of the 1992 Constitution requires that I give an account of the state of our nation to Parliament. I'm sad to report that the state of our nation is not good. Our economy is in crisis and our people are suffering unprecedented hardships. Mr. Speaker, we will host a national economic dialogue on March 3rd and 4th. On March 11th, the Minister of Finance, on my behalf, will present the budget estimates for the financial year 2025 to this August House. These 2 events will allow us to present the real state of Ghana's economic crisis to the people. Mr. Speaker, it is not my style to lament and shift blame when confronted with challenges. Mr. Speaker, it's not my style to lament and shift blame when confronted with challenges. My approach is to accept challenges and work hard to resolve them. Indeed, this is precisely what the people of Ghana elected me to do. I have therefore not come here to lament on the state of our country, though there's much to lament about. I understand why I was elected with such high voter confidence, and that is to solve Ghana's problems. With your permission, Mr. Speaker, and within the constraints of time, I'll take the liberty to elaborate on how we intend to address the numerous challenges facing us as a nation. Yesterday, February 26, 2025, marks exactly 10 years since I stood in this chamber, at this very spot, to declare my determination to fix Dumso, a legacy problem of power shortages. And Mr. Speaker, I fixed it. Yes, I promised to fix it, and I did. And I wish to place firmly on record that from January 2016 until I handed over the administration of this country on January 7, 2017, there was no power rationing or load management in Ghana. Mr. Speaker, today, inspired by the Almighty God and propelled by the massive mandate given to me by the good people of Ghana, I am moved to make a similar purposeful and bold declaration that I, John Dramani Mahama, I will fix the economic crisis confronting our country and reset it on a path of growth and prosperity. That I will fix the economic crisis confronting our country and reset it on a path of growth and prosperity. My government, working with you and every Ghanaian, will solve the challenges because we have developed the plan with our people's support. When I decided to run for president again, I did so because of what I knew about the state of our country. I was aware that huge problems awaited me upon assumption of office, but nothing could prepare anyone for the reality of the depths to which our economy and our governance had sunk. Our elders say that a frog's true length can be ascertained only after it has died. And how right they were. It is common knowledge that our economy is in dire straits, which is putting it mildly, because an initial assessment of the books we have discovered, after initial assessment of the books, we have discovered that our economic problems are much deeper than was previously known. We have inherited a country that is broken on many fronts. The profundities of the challenges confronting us are staggering. We are saddled with staggering debts and glaring signs of almost deliberate and, in some cases, reckless mismanagement of our resources. Mr. Speaker, not even the restraints of an IMF program were enough for the previous economic managers to exercise prudence in managing our finances.
So that was His Excellency John Dramani Mahama addressing the state after he was elected President of the Republic of Ghana. So we will continue, and in February 2025, Parliament session continues its sessions and proceedings. We will watch this video later because of time, so we will proceed to on the 13th of February 2025, the first Deputy Speaker Bernard Ahiafo led a parliamentary delegation to a data-driven policy roundtable hosted by the British High Commission. This event emphasized the importance of evidence-based policy making in Ghana's legislative processes. So we will watch this video too later. Let's continue. So we continue in March 2025, where the finance minister read the full budget to Ghanaians. Okay, so let's read before we watch the video. So Finance Minister Kezia Astoforsin presented the full 2025 budget to Parliament, themed around economic recovery and stabilization. The budget proposed abolition of 3 taxes: the e-levy, COVID-19 levy, and betting tax; relocation of funds to energy sector arrears over 2.5 billion; commitment under IMF program to cut the fiscal deficits and restructure debts. So the budget also outlines shock therapy strategies to reduce the fiscal deficit and restore investors' confidence. This included significant spending cuts, targeted revenue generation, and a commitment to complete debt restructuring under the ongoing IMF program. The budget aimed to stimulate private sector growth and restore public confidence. So notable reactions. The budget was widely debated with concerns from the minority over lost revenue due to abolished taxes. Majority defended it as a reset policy to relieve Ghanaians. So let's watch Ato Forsins as he read the 2025 budget.
Mr. Speaker, I now take you to how these resources will be allocated in the year 2025. Mr. Speaker, we will provide a cedi equivalent of $279 million as a revolving fund for the Ghana Gold Board to be able to purchase and export at least 3 tons of gold per week from small-scale miners. Mr. Speaker, we have allocated 13.85 billion Ghana cedis for Big Push project. Mr. Speaker, we have allocated 13.85 billion Ghana cedis for the Big Push program. Mr. Speaker, an amount of 499.8 million Ghana cedis has been allocated for the non-academic fee policy for all first-year students in public tertiary institutions under the No Fee Stress initiatives. Mr. Speaker, we have allocated an amount of 292.4 million Ghana cedis to commence the distribution of free sanitary pads to female students in primary and secondary schools. Mr. Speaker, we have allocated again an amount of 242.5 million Ghana cedis to support the victim of Akosombo Dam spillage. Right, Honorable Speaker, we have also allocated an amount of 200 million Ghana cedis to support the victim of tidal wave disaster that recently displaced resident in certain part of K2 South constituency. Mr. Speaker, the overarching concern about free secondary education has been its quality and the absence of dedicated sources of financing. His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama has resolved it. Mr. Speaker, let me take this again. The overarching concern about free secondary education has been its quality and the absence of a dedicated sources of funding. His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama has resolved the funding challenges by uncapping the GET fund. Mr. Speaker, this makes available dedicated funding for full financing of free senior secondary school education and free tertiary education for persons with disability. Mr. Speaker, therefore, Capping and Realignment Act will be amended to uncap the Ghana Education Trust Fund. Mr. Speaker, this year, the budget for free senior secondary school education program is 3.5 billion Ghana cedis. By uncapping the GET fund, we will be making available an additional 4.1 billion Ghana cedis, specifically for financing free secondary education program and other related expenditures. Mr. Speaker, aside the uncapping of GET fund, we have also absorbed the debt service made up of interest and principal from the Dache bond that GET fund contracted. Right, Honorable Speaker, we have also allocated an amount of 564.6 million Ghana cedis for the provision of curriculum-based textbooks covering the following. 1. 4 sets of KG books and workbooks for about 2.8 million learners. Mr. Speaker, we have also provided for 4 sets of primary textbooks for about 800,000 learners. Mr. Speaker, we have 1.78 billion Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, representing a 33% to implement reforms and increase budgetary allocation to enhance the implementation of 4 targeted social protection programs, namely National Health Insurance, the LEAD program, the school feeding program, and the capitation grant. Right, Honorable Speaker, under the LEAD program, beneficiaries will be increased from the current 350,000 to 400,000 beginning July 2025. The allocation of 728.8 million Ghana cedis for last year has been increased to 953.5 million Ghana cedis in the year 2025. So, Speaker, we have also uncapped the road fund. An amount of 2.81 billion Ghana cedis has been programmed for the Ghana Road Fund to be used solely for road maintenance. This represents an increase of 155% over the 2024 allocation of 1.1 billion Ghana cedis. 1.1 billion Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, we have also allocated an amount of 7.5 billion Ghana cedis to the District Assembly Common Fund. With unity and determination, we can restore faith in our economy, foster innovation, and uplift every Ghanaian. Mr. Speaker, with unity and determination, I repeat, we can restore faith in our economy, foster innovation, and uplift every Ghanaian. Right, Honorable Speaker, on behalf of His Excellency the President, I invite this House to join hands with us as we work to build the Ghana we want together. Mr. Speaker, I thank you so much. Idebi Keke.
So after the budget was presented, the debate continued right after that, and Parliament debated the budget heavily through mid to late March. Afenyo-Markin, which is minority leader, criticized the feasibility of funding without the abolished taxes. So Mahama Ayariga also defended the government plans as a bold but necessary move. The budget was eventually passed through, though not without close scrutiny, resistance from the minority caucus. So we will watch a video too on the passage of the budget. Okay, so legal and constitutional dispute. So Supreme Court overturned Speaker's decision on vacant seats. So Speaker Bagmans had declared some parliamentary seat vacant after the 2024 elections. I hope most of us know this issue. So the Supreme Court reversed this ruling, which Afenyo-Markin welcomed, seeing it as a win for parliamentary democracy. So this one was early January, before it started after before the elections, and then continued after the elections of the 2024 general elections. Okay, so the legislative oversight and ministerial accountability continued, and the vetting too also continued. So in March, committees began calling on ministers for accountability on spending and implementation of new budget programs. The Public Account Committee had hearings on mismanagement reports from the Auditor General's report. And also, delegation participated in ECOWAS Parliamentary Forum and Commonwealth Parliamentary Association meetings to share strategies on economic recovery and youth employment. So Parliament discussed the health roadmap for improving rural healthcare access and NHIS funding. MP Kwabena Minta Akando briefed Parliament on planned reforms, including digitizing NHIS operations. So all this was in March before they went on recess. So leadership dynamics and in parliament. So Afenyo-Markin, which minority leader, played a visible and strategic role, challenged speaker authority and supported court's actions to defend minority interests. Also took a firm stance on scrutinizing the budget, demanding accountability and energy debts servicing. And in the other hands, Mahama Ayariga, who is a majority leader, also effectively coordinated debate strategy and steered passage of the budget, displayed legal acumen in responding to minority critics, also pushed for the swift implementation of IMF-related legislative changes. Okay, so let's now go to the performance of minority leader Afenyo-Markin. So before then, let's watch this video.
Thank you for the opportunity to make some comments on the statement before this House. It's unfortunate that the Deputy Minister for Finance has just left the chamber. We are debating the budget of the executive. The Minister for Finance is not here. His deputy was here. Right after his submissions, he's Nicodemously sneaked out of the chamber. We would have wished that he would be here to get feedback. And here is why. You know, sometimes when you are in government, you suffer from a certain disease. Any feedback that is given you, you think your job is just to defend. I was information minister. You think your job is just to defend and explain. Sometimes if you listen, you will get free advice that can help you to improve what you are doing. So it will be good that you bring him back into the chamber so that he can listen to the feedback that we are giving to him. He, for example, says that his justification for raising this 49 billion, this phantom 49 billion, is that in 2017 we mentioned arrears of 7 billion. What he forgets is that when we mentioned 7 billion, we did not proceed to adjust the fiscals with that 7 billion. We did not proceed to adjust the national account with that 7 billion and change the primary balance. We proceeded to say it will be audited, and thankfully, a good chunk of those claims were thrown away. What he has done differently, what he and his boss have done differently, is that they have proceeded to adjust the national accounts and adjust the primary balance for numbers that they themselves claim they have not audited. I'm happy he's coming back into the chamber. So the difference is that you have proceeded to adjust the national account with figures that you are confessing you have not audited. Who does that? And that is why we are telling you to hasten slowly. Mr. Speaker, he says they have indexed LEAP to inflation. He goes on to say that they have provided dedicated funding for free SHS. Honorable Deputy Minister, you did not index LEAP to inflation. The MPP government that just did indexed LEAP to inflation. You did not do it. You did not do it. Don't take credit for what you haven't done. Also, you claim there was no dedicated funding for free SHS, and you question whether the erudite Abeno Osei-Asare has read the budget. I regret to inform you, you probably haven't read your own budget. You haven't read your own budget. Because if you have read your budget, you will find out that the dedicated funding for free SHS was a goods and services allocation of ABFA. Honorable Deputy Minister, ABFA, what you have done, and again, you tell the people of Ghana that you have uncapped NHIL and Get Fund. That's not true. Let me show you why it's not true. It is the Earmarked Funds Capping and Realignment Act. What that law says is that you cap 14 funds. And if you find that any fund requires its full allocation, you restore. That's what you have done. If you wanted to uncap, you know what you do? You repeal the whole legislation. Why have you not uncapped all the 14 funds? This will be nothing to write home about. You told us between pages 3 and 20, you told us between pages 3, economic program. Honorable Deputy Minister, let me have your attention. You told us that your economic program will be built on 3 foundational pillars: the economic transformation agenda, the economic recovery program, and the 24-hour economy. Right at the dispatch box, your boss, the finance minister, has admitted that the 24-hour economy part of it, they are not ready to even lay it before this House. Sunday, you brought in Mr. Gusitando to do an informal presentation, and he himself admitted that he has some further work to do, and then he will bring it here. You have brought us an economic policy. The economic recovery program, that's the foundation. The economic transformation agenda, that's the foundation. The 24-hour economy, that's the foundation. You have not finished preparing it. Who built the first floor when they haven't built the foundation? Which contractor built the first floor when they haven't built the foundation? And let me show you the effect. That is why when we go into your economic policy, there's no coherence with your manifesto. You made 273 economic promises in your manifesto, 273 of them. If we prorate your 4-year period, each year you should be doing about 68 of them. Do you know how many of your economic promises you have responded to in this first economic policy? Do you know the number? I'm not sure you have read the budget. You haven't counted. You have only responded to 25 of your economic promises. Mr. Deputy Minister, that is just about 36%. If you continue at this rate, by the time this year is over and by the time your tenure is over, you will be doing less than 20%. And let me tell you why. Because even when you roll out programs as government, not all of it succeeds. I've told you that we've been in government before. The MPP in the first year rolled out free SHS, 1D, 1F, 1 village, 1 dam. Even those ones that we started early, look at the challenges that we faced. And so, Honorable Deputy Minister, we are drawing your attention, this is free feedback to you, that you need to find more coherence between your economic policy and your own manifesto. Else, by the time your tenure is done, you would have disappointed yourself. The second point I want to draw your attention to is that your budget, even the one that you brought, your budget, it betrays your priorities. You see, like they say, don't tell me what your priorities are. Show me your budget, and I will see what you value. This budget that you have brought is the budget in which you have told us, first of all, that you value Ghanaian women so much that you are going to set up a bank for them, the Women's Development Bank. You have put $51 million allocation, 51 million cedis allocation in this budget for the Women's Development Bank. And then you have put 70 million cedis for research at Jubilee House. You see your priorities? The budget is beginning to betray your priorities. You give all of the women in Ghana who are looking for this bank 51 million, and then you give research at the office of the president 70 million Ghana cedis. You are beginning to see your priorities. Honorable Deputy Minister, you told us that something has happened that's never happened. The president has gone to negotiate minimum wage. How much? 10%. By the way, the previous administration did way better, 25% plus. But while you are increasing minimum wage by 10%, you have increased the compensation budget at the Office of Government Machinery by over 720%. Over 720%. This is what the leader of the minority said, that very soon we will see the true colors of the umbrella. You see, your priorities are beginning to show. You need not less than about 1 billion Ghana cedis to close the infrastructure gap within senior high schools. You say you don't have fiscal space, you don't have money for it, but you have found 4.1 billion cedis to buy gold. Gold that was being bought from liquidity that was being brought into the jurisdiction by foreign companies that wanted to buy the gold. Now you want to take taxpayers' money, 4 billion Ghana cedis, to go and buy gold. Are you seeing your priorities now? You have made available 100 million Ghana cedis for capital expenditure at the Office of Government Machinery. What are you buying there? More cars or what? 100 million Ghana cedis for capital expenditure. And yet, you say to the young people of this country that there is no space. Paragraph 478. That's why I'm worrying whether you've read it. Paragraph 478. You say there's no fiscal space to recruit young people into the public service. But you find 100 million Ghana cedis for capital expenditure, to buy cars and other things. Are you seeing where your priorities are? If I take you into a further analysis of your own numbers, Honorable Deputy Minister, your own numbers. Like my brother John Jinapo used to say, Mr. Speaker, we have run the regression analysis and the correlation analysis on this side, and we know all the figures. I'm happy he's here in the chamber. Mr. Speaker, we have also run the analysis. if you look at compensation allocations, Honorable Deputy Minister, do I have your attention? You will find that for the Office of Government Machinery, you have allocated 2.7 billion for compensation. By the way, when it was 327, you used to complain and do press conferences. Now it's 2.7 billion. But what is even more worrying, the economic sector ministries, 7 of them, the ones that are responsible for generating growth, expansion of the economy and jobs for people, you have given them a paltry 2.2 billion Ghana cedis. You value Office of Government Machinery compensation more than 7 economic ministries. You were telling us a few minutes ago that infrastructure is the most important thing. While you have made available 2.7 billion cedis for compensation at the Office of Government Machinery, Honorable Deputy Minister, if you check your budget, the numbers, do you know how much you have given for compensation for the infrastructure sector ministries? A paltry 700 million Ghana cedis. So your budget is showing your priorities. But even more importantly, I keep reminding you that the most important things that the people of Ghana are looking for, improvement in cost of living. Between the State of the Nation address and your economic policy and your budget, you have conveniently forgotten about them. You told us that you were going to use the special petroleum levy to cushion people who buy fuel from increased fuel prices. Between SONA, budget, and economic policy, you have conveniently forgotten about it. Today, you have increased the cost of gas, which is used for producing electricity, from $7 per MMBTU to $8 per MMBTU. You know what it means. What it means is that the cost of power produced is going up. Then to add insult to injury, you have added to it that every 3 months there will be adjustments in utility tariffs. So what is going to happen is that utility tariffs are going to go up every 3 months. Is this the reset that you promised the people of Ghana? You told everybody that food inflation was so high it needs to be dealt with. My uncle is here. He has rolled out an interesting program which looks very much like planting for food and jobs. You are going to give support to farmers to increase production. I'm giving you honest feedback. The outstanding items like porous borders, transportation challenges, liberalized pricing regime at our markets, the program that you are talking about doesn't address it. So food inflation, you have not done anything about it. Transportation. Today, the Minister for Transport is now asking transport unions that they should hold on with transport fare increases. Because you haven't, as a government, introduced any policy to deal with it, despite what you told the people of Ghana. And so, my brother, the economic policy you have brought, it doesn't respond to the key issues. Worse is that you have introduced new taxes that will worsen the cost of living. The growth and sustainability levy that you have introduced from 2026, 2027, 2028 is going to affect banks, non-banking financial institutions, insurance companies, telecom companies, breweries, oil marketing companies, companies and institutions registered under SEC, electronic money issuers, and all other companies that are not within category A and B. I can give you a copy of Act 1095 by 5%. All these industries, they are going to pass the cost on to the average Ghanaian, and cost of living will go up. So the most important thing to the people of Ghana, cost of living, you have not tackled it. My final point, Mr. Speaker, and I'll take my seat. You see, when you gave all of these policies to the Ghana Statistical Service and the Finance Ministry people, they marked it. And they said that they project that it will lead to 4.4% growth in the economy. The economy that you said was criminally managed. The economy that you said was a crime scene. It did a modest 5.7. Remember that in the first 3 years before COVID, we were doing 7%. When the recovery happened, 5.7. All your programs put together, they are now telling you that it will do 4.4. Mr. Speaker, by our model, on top of the 5.7% this year, Ghana should be doing nothing less than 8% growth. This year, by our model. So If you want to compare apples to apples, Honorable Deputy Minister, comparing apples to apples, your 4.4% compares to 8%. I have in my hands here the Deloitte economic forecast for 2025. It was issued in December. They said in December that when they look at the MPP's economic recovery program, inflation following our disinflation trend is supposed to be 11% this year. 11% this year. You promised a reset that you are going to do better than us. What is your figure? The same 11%. How? You should be doing 7%. Yes. Don't forget that in 2019, the MPP did 7.9% inflation. This is after 2 years of single-digit inflation. And so respectfully, I beg of you, if you listen to the feedback, your overall performance, as is being marked by the Finance Ministry and the Ghana Statistical Service, you need to up it a little more. Mr. Speaker, I will conclude by these comments. In fact, some more data we have. The Office of Government Machinery used to be the 7th highest expenditure item. Today, because you have inflated it, it is now the 5th highest. It is higher. It is higher. It is higher than local government. It's even higher than roads and highways. Mr. Speaker, to conclude, we call on our colleagues on the government bench, try and find coherence between your economic policy and your manifesto. Else, you may not hit 20% and you disappoint yourself. Your money follow where your words have been. The big things that will create growth and expansion of the economy, put money behind them. And Mr. Speaker, the very final point, it's not too late. You have some time. We have 3 weeks before appropriation. Just like how the Finance Minister came back to correct himself that he wants to amend the Income Tax Amendment Act to actually include betting tax, you can still come back and make corrections, and we in this mighty minority will support you to pass that budget. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Alexander Afenyo-Markin, as the minority leader, played a pivotal role in holding the government accountable. He led the minority critique of the budget, questioning the feasibility of the proposed reforms and advocating for alternative solutions. Afenyo-Markin also challenged the Speaker's decision to declare certain parliamentary seats vacant, a move that was later overturned by the Supreme Court, reinforcing his commitment to upholding constitutional procedures. Mahama Ayariga, appointed as majority leader in January 2025, effectively coordinated the majority legislation agenda. He facilitated the smooth passage of the budget and other key bills, demonstrating adept leadership and negotiation skills. Ayariga's experience and legal expertise contributed to maintaining parliamentary order and advocating the government policy objectives. Now let's watch the performance between minority leader Afenyo-Markin and Mahama Ayariga during the budget debate.
Honorable Minister, how much is to be expected from the uncapping of the NHIS fund? Because, Mr. Speaker, the Minister is talking about decapping of the fund. Now, he should be able to tell us how much, as a result of the decapping, would be available.
This requires some coordination with the revenue authorities to get the figures. So he should ask the substantive question on the matter. But the minister has it, so...
Mr. Speaker, this must stop. The majority leader has been using this to intimidate the backbench. He is a leader of this house. He shouldn't be doing this. And when it gets to the minority leader, he now takes the stage to be intimidating and directing. We don't know him as a bully. We don't know him as a bully. That's not his training. He should allow the minister to answer the question. This government promised 1.5 billion for the agro sector and made provision for 924 million in the estimate. So don't let us go there. Mr. Speaker, don't let us go there. Don't lead yourself into temptation. The same thing with their big push. They should give proper assurances. They say one thing and do another. It's only talk government. They say women banking only gave 51 million. women
Honorable
banking.
Minority Leader, your supplementary question.
Yes, Mr.
Please.
Speaker. They don't keep their promises. Mr. Speaker, I want to know from the Minister of Finance.
Honorable Majority Leader. Honorable Minority, I recognize Honorable Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, the Minority Leader should learn to behave properly in this chamber. He should learn to behave properly in this chamber. Please, let's treat each other with respect. Please, you cannot stand here and just point accusing finger and say they don't keep their promises. This is a government that so far has kept every promise that it has made to Ghanaians. Every promise that we have made to Ghanaians, we have kept. Every promise we have kept. We said we will appoint not more than 60 ministers. We have done so. We said we will do that. We said we are going to abolish taxes. We have abolished the taxes. Every single thing that we've said we will do, we are doing. Go out there and conduct a survey. Every Ghanaian you ask say that they have confidence in John Dramani Mahama and the government, and that they are happy because they have seen that this is a government that keeps its promises. So you cannot stand here and just throw your fingers and then point at us and say we don't keep our promises. The budget has just been brought. We have not yet even considered it. We have not yet even approved it for us to implement our promises. You cannot always stand up and talk as if you are more than anybody in this chamber. Make this your last time. Make this your last time.
Honourable members.
The leader of government business, who I so much respect, was on his feet to mislead the House. He was not up on a point of order against a question which was yet to be asked. But he talked about proper behavior. But his
Honorable
approach,
Minority
Mr. Speaker,
Leader.
I need to finish. Mr. Speaker, I need to finish.
Honorable Minority
Mr.
Leader.
Speaker, I need to finish.
Once again,
Mr. Speaker, I
will
need to
you
finish.
ask a supplementary question? Honorable Minority Leader, once again, will you ask a supplementary question?
Mr. Speaker, I am asking my supplementary question. However, I need your leave to respond to certain matters that have gone into the record of this House, which matters were raised by the majority leader. And it is my right, far right, to respond to these, because he introduced them. Mr. Speaker, if the majority leader talks about improper behavior, I dare say that his is worse. Because he's saying that his government has kept all promises. Even appointing ministers, you gave a promise last week. The 4 that are remaining, you are refusing to. You can't. Which promise have you kept? Which promise have you kept? You said 30% of women. Have you complied with the affirmative action law? You come here and then you say you kept your promise. Which promise have you kept? Then you say improper behavior. Yours is worse. Women in banking, only 51 million. Agriculture, the farmers, the poor farmers in the north, the poor farmers in the south. What promises didn't you give? Today, you only allocate a paltry sum for the agro sector. The 924 million, a chunk of it goes into compensation. What is the Minister of Agri going to do? A redundant minister? What about your big push? Nothing. And you say you kept your promises. You've not kept your promises. You've not kept your promises. This government is even becoming a lame duck. This government is even becoming a lame duck. If elections are held today, you lose.
Honourable members.
If elections are held today, you become the minority. If elections are held today, you will be the minority. Your majority will go down to less than 100. If you like, declare election. Let the president declare election, and we'll see.
Honourable members, order.
Mr. Speaker, I'm going to ask my question.
Minority Leader.
Can the Minister of Finance assure this House that true to his commitment in his own budget, he's going to comply with this funding gap? We want assurances because health matters. We are not supposed to joke with them. Is he going to assure this House that he's going to comply and there would be no story? But on item 4. On item 4.
Yes.
Yes, please. Mr. Speaker, you just said there is no message from the president. But Mr. Speaker, today is Tuesday. Last week, Wednesday, was when Mr. President swore in the deputy ministers. And the media reported him to have said that he was sending the last 4 of his list of deputy ministerial nominees to Parliament. And I actually watched the video as well, apart from the media report. I watched the video, and Mr. President said this week. He referred to this week, and he was speaking on Wednesday at the swearing-in at Jubilee House, that he was going to send the list to Parliament. So, Mr. Speaker, saying that you have not received any communication from the presidency, well, I find it strange that Mr. President, after assuring the nation on Wednesday that he was sending the last batch of deputy ministerial nominees to us, has failed to bring the list to us, because he said in course of the week. The video is there for every Ghanaian to see. But, Mr. Speaker, that one has to do with the president and his decisions.
Honourable Afenyo-Markin, all that you have said, does it amount to the Speaker having a message from the President?
Mr. Speaker, with respect, our duty is to bring matters of national importance to your attention. I know that you have not received a message from the President, but I'm doing this to draw the attention of the leader of government business to the commitment made by the President, because he is the leader of government business. When the President makes promises, your duty is to ensure that these promises are honored. The President, whose government business you lead in this chamber, has promised that he was going to ferry the names of deputy ministerial nominees to this chamber. He made this promise last week. He said in course of the week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Today is Tuesday. What is going on? What is going on? It's your duty. If you want to litigate it, litigate it. But your promises made must be kept.
Mr. Speaker, I thought that the minority leader has stayed long enough in this House to understand the processes in this House. Because, Mr. Speaker, the order of business makes provision for a message from the President when there is a message from the President. A message from the President when there is a message from the President. Mr. Speaker, it is tried knowledge that there's no message from the President. If he is desirous of a message, he should tell us. Mr. Speaker, if he wants an appointment from the President, he should come and tell me privately. I know he has never been a minister. And when his government was in power, they never considered him for a minister. He labored for them for years. They never made him a minister. And I think that his inability to be a minister has become a problem. Because since this house began, every single day, he's worried about who are ministers and who are not ministers. If you want to be one of the 60, we are very, very accommodating. We will welcome you. This is a government that wants to unite the country. So we don't mind appointing the minority leader as a deputy minister. We don't mind. Because he's been so worried about when the list will come that it can only be somebody who is expecting his name among the list. Who will be that worried? Who will be so anxious? The environment minister says he doesn't have a deputy, that you can come and be his deputy. Oh, please. So please, Speaker, let's move on. The president will send his list when he is ready. He will send his list when he is ready. Mr. Speaker, the earlier ones that he sent, you are not the one who instructed him to bring them. So why are you worried about this one? And commitments made outside this house have nothing to do with this house. Statements made outside this house by any member of the executive, it's not a matter that we would necessarily insist that you must comply with the timelines that you indicated. In any case, I don't recall the president making a statement like that. I don't recall. I didn't hear. I haven't monitored media to hear the president make such a statement. I don't recall. If the president had told me, the leader of his business here, that he intends to submit a list by a certain date, I would have followed up. I would have requested of him to comply. If you look at the list of urgent questions, and particularly questions 7C, 7D, and questions 8.2, those questions are soliciting information that is readily available in an official publication. They were, I believe, asked before the budget statement was presented. But when the budget statement was presented, those questions got caught by Order 861I. Because 86 says that a question shall not solicit an answer which is readily available in official publications. Shall not solicit an answer which is readily available in official publications. So, Speaker, these are the questions being asked. To ask the Minister for Finance the measures taken to close the USAID financing gap of $156 million, following a directive from the President which was communicated through a press release by the Minister responsible for government communications. We were given a statement by the Minister for Finance, and he clearly indicated in the budget statement how he intends to address the financing gap. So it's in the publication, which is part of the record of this House. And again, D says to ask the Minister for Finance what measures the ministry is taking to address recent significant depreciation of the cedi. And again, that is captured in the policy statement which has been presented to us. And 8.2 says to ask the Minister for Finance what measures have been put in place to ensure the timely release of national health insurance funds to avoid delays in claims to healthcare providers. These are also captured in the policy statement. Policies such as uncapping, making sure there are more resources, and etc., all are captured in the policy statement. So if these questions were asked and the Speaker admitted them because at that time the policy statement was not before this House, once the policy statement is before us and all those measures are outlined, I think that we should not proceed with these questions and answer the ones that the Minister for Interior is slated to answer. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Second time, I'm going to repeat this, and I do so with great pain. The majority leader must be careful with the kind of precedents they want to set. First of all, his argument that the question under 7C was filed before. Okay, well, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, the finance minister is here already. He's ready to take it. Our people say too much meat does not spoil the soup.
But, Mr. Speaker, I'm happy he has eaten a humble pie and taken back his application. But I need to respond to the issue for the record. Hansa's sake. I filed my question after the policy statement had been presented. I didn't file it prior. So I just want the record to capture it as such. On that of my other colleagues, I do not know. But I'm sure they would speak to it at the appropriate time, since they are not in the chamber yet. That notwithstanding, Mr. Speaker, these questions have been admitted. The minister is here to answer them, and I'm happy that the majority leader has now conceded that the minister is here to answer. But he has to desist from this practice. He has to desist from this practice that as a man trained in the land of liberty, he was trained far away in America, a land where liberty is celebrated and democracy has been entrenched for over 300 years. He now wants to use his status as leader of government business to obstruct the minority from doing its work. Mr. Speaker, he did it a week ago when we were going to move a motion on this directive by the Chief of Staff, and he got a ruling in his favor. So he...
Question?
You are gradually empowering this House to remove someone as a member of Parliament, because he started as Osahini and we kept quiet. Now he's acquiescing to the addition of Togbi. Mr. Speaker, you know that the Constitution doesn't allow members of Parliament to be chiefs and chiefs to be members of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, if he goes towards the north, he also get a skin title. We will be compelled to move against him.
Yeah.
No procedure. And he has brought the men in black into this chamber. Nobody is going to allow you to introduce anybody. Bring the person you've dismissed and then introduce the one you have brought. After the man has helped you, you dismiss him. Yes.
And for a leader to make a statement that is purely based on conjecture. I never knew that the responsibility of IGPs is to help people. So maybe perhaps he needs to expatiate on that, the kind of help. He has information that we may not know, and he needs to expatiate on that, so that if not, then it should be expunged. It has no place as far as the records of proceedings of this House is concerned. Withdraw and apologize.
Let me also hear Majority Chief Whip. You've heard them.
Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, order.
Mr. Speaker, I made a political statement. I made a political statement. And Mr. Speaker, the point is that I have not attributed this political statement to the NDC. I didn't say that. Mr. Speaker, please. He understands what I understand. Please, don't get involved. Don't get involved. Mr. Speaker, the point is that when the Minister for Government Communications issued a statement announcing Mr. Yohonu as a new IGP, he did not thank Dampari for his services to the nation.
Honorable
Mr. Speaker, but
Minority
let's
Leader,
sleeping dogs lie.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, let sleeping dogs lie. This is a matter on a lighter note.
So,
Mr. Speaker, this is a political
honourable members are direct that the statement be expunged from the record.
Taken to ensure the enforcement of the law in response to the recent violence during the Council of State elections in the Ashanti region on Tuesday, 11 February 2025, particularly regarding the reported instance of tax overpowering the police. Thank you.
Honourable Minister.
In communications, he told the country that the new IGP has spent 40 years in the service, 40 years as a police officer. So at the right time, we would calculate whether he entered at a 20, 19, or 18, his age and all. But he says, he stated publicly that the new IGP has spent 40 years in the service. That is just by the way.
Honourable Minority Leader, you are to ask a supplementary question.
Mr. Speaker, I am congratulating him because this is the first time he's introducing him. And then he talked about 40 years in the service. So I'm only doing the mathematics. Whether the IGP is going to retire very soon or what. But, Mr. Speaker, that's beside the point. I want to ask the Minister, when should we expect this investigation to be completed, and when would the report be submitted for us to know? Because this is a serious matter of national importance. Tax overpowering police. And it's a good effort that you are investigating. But the question is, when are we expecting the investigation to be completed and the report be submitted?
Up to the end of this month to give me an update. But as to whether the investigation will be completed, like I said, they are looking at the footage and trying to identify the perpetrators, get them arrested and prosecuted. And as you may know, if you identify someone and you cannot find that person, how will you be able to say that at this particular date I can finish? But the update, I'm sure they will give me periodic updates, and at the end of this month I expect an update from the police administration on how far they've gone with the investigation and whether they've been able to make some arrests, and if they have, what they are doing. So surely when I get those updates and you are interested, why not? I'll let you know. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
We were told of some initial arrests. The media reported of some initial arrests. And these attacks interrupted the proceedings in a broad daylight. In a broad daylight. And we're told of some initial arrests. Can the minister tell us the status of prosecution of those who were initially arrested? The incident having taken place in a broad daylight.
Mr. Speaker, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the leader is telling me, the minority leader is telling me there was some arrest. My report doesn't indicate so. So I'll find out from the police, because what the media reports may be different from what the police report. So I'll cross-check from the police whether truly on that said day there were some arrests. But what they told me was that they are reviewing the CCTV footage and they will be able to identify the people, because like you rightly said, it's a daylight thing. So they'll be able to identify who first jumped over the barricade and all that. Then they'll pick it from there. But the information to me,
who also once served in leadership of this house, is telling us that those attacks are being pursued. May I know from him whether he's committed into telling this house that should these attacks be found to be partisan activists, he will still pursue them irrespective.
crime as crime. And as he rightly knows, crime has no color. And definitely, once you commit a crime, it does not really matter which party or which tribe or which religion or which group you come from. once you commit a crime, crime has been committed. And I can assure him that once crime is committed, I will support the police 100% to do the needful and make sure that the perpetrators are brought to book. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Minister again tells us that there were some changes in the command at the regional level because of such failings. Is he able to tell us whether, as a result, some disciplinary action is being taken, or, as has been the usual practice, these officers are only being reassigned to other units of within the police service?
All the information this gave me was that the command had to be changed because of the security breach. I want to find out from them whether what happened, the command structure that they are saying had been changed, requires that those officers that have been changed be punished. Because remember, they also have regulations that guide what they do and what constitutes a crime, what can institute a punishment or an inquiry on an officer. So I'll find out from them. But the information to me is that the command structure was changed to enable them have a different strategy for the re-election, which happened and it was very successful. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, finally on this matter, can the minister assure us that with the change in the command structure, the people of the Ashanti region should be assured of their peace?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The people of Ashanti, which I'm one, can be rest assured because the subsequent election proved that the changes was effective and we had a very peaceful election that produced a result that everybody was happy with. So I can assure him that, yes, the people of Ashanti, including myself, can be rest assured that the changes have brought more professionalism into the operations of the police. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I stand to ask the Minister for the Interior the circumstances surrounding the attempted arrest of the Member of Parliament for Akutia, Honorable Ernest Yakumi, by 10 operatives of the National Intelligence Bureau in 3 official pickup vehicles on Friday, the 7th of March 2025 in Akutia.
High Court on 19 February 2025 issued a bench warrant for the arrest of Ernest Yakumi, Member of Parliament for Akutia constituency. The warrant was served on the National Intelligence Bureau (NIB's) Eastern Regional Office through the National Security Coordinator. Right Honourable Speaker, the circumstances surrounding the attempted arrest of the Member of Parliament by the officers of the NIB was therefore to carry out the orders of the High Court per the warrant dated 19 February 2025 for committer for contempt. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
A serious revelation in this reset government. Now, can the minister tell us this and bring clarity? He says that a court order against a citizen who is the people's representatives was served on a national security coordinator at the regional level, Eastern Regional National Security Coordinator. And this metamorphosed into NIB operatives enforcing a court order. Can the minister tell us who served this, directed this order to be given to the Eastern Regional Coordinator of National Security for it to be enforced by the NIB against the Honorable Member of Parliament? Can the minister tell us who served this order? Because he said the order was served in his answer. He said the order, the bench warrant, was served on the Regional Security Coordinator. The regional, yes, he's the national security coordinator for the region, the Eastern Regional Coordinator.
So, Honourable Minority Leader, are you asking of the name of the server or the process?
No, please, respectfully. The institution, let's deal with the institution.
Yes.
He says the order was served on the regional national security coordinator. And the regional security coordinator also directed NIB. Mr. Speaker, it is important to draw the distinction. National security coordinator, he has his institution by law, and then we have NIB also operating by law. I want to know from the minister, which institution directed the order of the court to be served on the national security coordinator for it to be effected by his office or her office against the member of parliament. We want to know who.
I just drew the attention of this house that crime will be treated as crime. And once a court issues a bench warrant for an individual for a crime committed, it is for the state to ensure that that person is arrested. And Mr. Speaker, this was done in line with our laws. He committed a crime. The court said he has committed crime of contempt. And the court issued a warrant for his arrest. And the state apparatus just have to implement the court decision. And Mr. Speaker, as to who physically took the warrant to the National Security Coordinator or to the police, remember, you are an officer of the court and you know better than I do that in the court building where you are, you have police, you have all the other operatives. Once the court issue a warrant for an individual for committing a crime, I just earlier said it, crime is a crime. It does not know a member of parliament or non-member of parliament. He committed a crime, the court says he should be arrested, and we have to effect the arrest. Give me the speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I will continue to repeat. We must be careful the president we are serving. Mr. Speaker made a reference to me that I'm an officer of the court, and he said so rightly. When a court gives an order, when a judge sitting as a judge of equity and justice makes an order, that order is to be drawn. And when the order is drawn, the registrar effects service of the order through a bailiff of a court. Mr. Speaker, there's a matter of law and procedure. And I know that there are well-respected lawyers, not only on this side, but on the other side. The minister is saying that once the court made an order, the NIB, the national security, had a duty to be going around enforcing a court order. My question is very specific. Did the court registrar...
Honourable Minority Leader, what was the order? Let's make a distinction between warrant of arrest and a court order.
Mr. Speaker, with respect, a warrant of arrest properly drawn by a court must be served, must be enforced. I am asking, did the registrar of the court serve the order on the National Security Coordinator in the Eastern region? Did the registrar serve the order on the officer in Eastern region? Is that what happened? We want to know.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, that's exactly what I said. I said the National Security Coordinator was served. He was served Service, as you rightly said, is done by bailiffs. But unless you are telling me I should go and get the fine details, who wrote the warrant, who signed it, who was it handed over to, so that I can take all that line from the courtroom all the way to the National Security Coordinator's office. But you know, definitely, the National Security Coordinator is not going to walk into the courtroom with an NIB official to say that, oh, once we issue a warrant, can we have it to go and effect arrest? No. Somebody served it in line with the law. So, Mr. Speaker, so far as we are concerned, the law was adhered to, a crime was committed, and a crime was committed, and the National Security Coordinator was served for the warrant to be effected. And that was what happened. And unfortunately, they didn't get him. Because if they had gotten him, he would have definitely been arrested. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Minister, thank you for your answer.
Last one. Mr. Speaker, the minister, this is a house of records. This is a house of records. The minister says, unfortunately, they didn't get him. If they had gotten him, they would have arrested him. Mr. Speaker, the minister should know this, that at the time the officers were in Koforidua, in Akwetia, to arrest the MP, the Supreme Court had issued an order by a 4-1 decision freezing the enforcement of those orders. That is one. Two, Mr. Speaker, at the time that those NIB officers were on rampage, they actually made an attempt and pulled a weapon, and the town folks, through the noise they made on the injustice, they had to run away. Mr. Speaker, the minister should not endorse illegality and unconstitutionality. But I want to ask him whether it is part of the NIB's duties.
Honorable Minority Leader, I will recognize the Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, the Minority Leader, and I said it this morning, I continue to get worried about the manner in which the Minority Leader uses the facilities of this House. The opportunity to ask ministers questions is closely governed by Order 86. The type of questions you can ask. You cannot make or imply a charge of a personal character or which reflects upon character or conduct except of a person in an official or public capacity. You cannot ask questions that contain charges which the member asking the question is not in a position to substantiate. These are all matters that govern questions. You've just made statements about some people wielding guns, attempt to use a gun, and etc. If we ask you to substantiate that now, can you do that? With videos and etc. Can you do that now on the floor? Can you do that? Secondly, you've just made a statement questioning the character and integrity of the minister, asking him not to condone unconstitutionality. This is inappropriate. You've asked questions. He's come to answer the questions, to give you answers. You can ask him further questions. But to make a statement that don't condone unconstitutionality and illegality is totally out of place. And coming from you, the Minority Leader, who is supposed to offer leadership on this side, is quite unfortunate. It's quite unfortunate. Don't use this platform for political gimmicking when it is not necessary. And you've consistently tried to do that. We've accommodated you, and I think that you are overdoing it. Please, ask your questions and let him answer the questions. But don't descend into politicking with the questions.
Yes, Honorable.
Thank you. He made an intervention. He went beyond the intervention. I have a right to respond to him. It is very rich that the Majority Leader and Leader of this House is not concerned about an illegal attempt to arrest
Honorable Minority Leader.
To arrest a member of this
Honorable
House.
Minority Leader, ask question. Honorable Minority Leader, you do not have the authority to determine the legality or otherwise of an arrest. So, Honorable Minority Leader, ask question. We cannot determine the legality or otherwise of arrest pursuant to a warrant emanating from the court. So, kindly ask question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the majority leader, after his intervention, wanted to know about what the existence of a video to substantiate the matters are raised. I want to promise him that I will make available to him those videos of that rampage so that he will know that I speak on facts. He will know. I will serve him copies and at the right time make this thing available to this House. Mr. Speaker, I want to know from the Honorable Minister, from his explanation, he's telling us that the court's registrar served an order on the national security for the purposes of enforcement. May
Honorable
I know,
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, the question that he has asked is for the Minister for the Interior to ask the Minister for the Interior the circumstances surrounding the attempted arrest of the Member of Parliament for Akwatia, Honorable Ernest Yaokumi, by 10 operatives of the National Intelligence Bureau in 3 official pickup vehicles on Friday, 7 March 2025 in Akwatia. Mr. Speaker, to what extent is he willing to go to determine the circumstance? Whether it was in the morning, it was in the afternoon, whether they were wearing white or red T-shirts, whether they came walking or in a... I mean, what kind of details do you require from the minister? The minister has already indicated that there was a court order, and that is not in dispute because it was debated in this very chamber. So everyone knows about the court order. It was widely covered. Media reported it. There's no doubt about that. You even went to the higher courts trying to freeze the enforcement of the court order. So there's no doubt about the existence of a court order. You ask questions about how the law enforcement agencies got to know that a court order exists. So are you suggesting that when a crime is committed by anybody and the matter is reported by journalists, and even in this house, that person comes and wants to make a statement, and we objected to that person making a statement because of the pendency of a court order, and we felt it to be an insult to the judiciary for us to allow that to happen. And we even raised the issue in this house that ordinarily speaking, the law enforcement agents should be going out to arrest that person. Then they take steps and arrest the person, and you come here and you are holding a minister accountable for what? When thieves steal and they arrest them, do the minister come and answer questions about why the person who stole a fowl has been arrested? When people commit murder and then the minister, they are arrested, then the minister comes to account for how they were arrested. Please, let's not trivialize the business of this house. If he wants that answer, he should come and ask a specific question related to that matter. He will go and prepare and come and answer that.
The majority leader is taking his liberties rather too far. The minister is an experienced member of this house and is capable. This attempt at obstructing the whole process, Mr. Speaker, must be stopped. He's a leader of this house and he should know better. This is unacceptable. My question asked about
Honorable
the
Minority
circumstances.
Leader, with all due respect, we know the rules that when a question is asked, there is a room for a supplementary, and the supplementary must emanate from the answer given by the minister. So you are now supposed to ask a supplementary question emanating from the answers provided by the minister.
Mr. Speaker, with respect. Mr. Speaker, please, with respect. Order 89 is very clear. I'm holding Order 89. Mr. Speaker, I am not asking anything outside of this. As soon as a question is answered, any member beginning with the member who asked the question may, without notice, ask a supplementary question for further clarification. Emphasis, further clarification of any matter of facts on the answer, but a supplementary question shall not introduce a matter not included in the original answer. Now, pay attention. Don't think too political and misconstrue.
So, Honorable Minority Leader, what I said and standing Order 89, is there any difference?
No, Mr. Speaker, with respect, I need my colleagues opposite me to appreciate the government of my supplementary question. The minister said that National Security Officer in charge in Eastern Region received a court order and directed NIB operatives to effect an arrest. Now, Order 89.1 allows me to ask a question for clarity's sake. So my question for clarity is, how was that court order served? Because contrary to the argument of the majority leader, the fact that a court has made an order does not mean that any state security operative can, upon hearing, go on his own and say, I'm enforcing a court order. So I want to know, for the record, did the court directed the order to be served on the National Security Officer in charge of Eastern Region for the purposes of enforcement? That is my question.
Yeah. I'm sorry to say that I'm also a member of Parliament. And I want to draw the attention of the minority leader to Order 88.7. And Order 88.7, Mr. Speaker, with your permission, I read. A member in asking a question shall not address the House, raise any argument or offer an opinion. Mr. Speaker, unfortunately, the minority leader is arguing with me. I have told him that in the answer, this notice was served through the National Security Coordinator to the NIB. I have answered because he should stop arguing with me because it's flouting our rules. The rules does not allow him to argue with me. So, Mr. Speaker, I'll be grateful that you draw the minority leader's attention to adhere to our rules and stop arguing with me. If he wants answers, he should ask, but he should stop arguing with me. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister.
Coordinator in the Eastern Region. Which institution?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the court.
Mr. Speaker, thank you.
Is it irregular for any security agency in this country to enforce a court?
It's not. I have seen the Office of the Special Prosecutor come to this premise as a chief whip, ransacking the office of Honorable Mahama Ayariga as then a member of Parliament. I have seen the National Security Apparatus visiting Honorable Jinapo's residence and taking laptops and other gadgets from him. Mr. Speaker, I have seen the National Security, the police, arresting Honorable Collins' daughter on 3 different occasions. Mr. Speaker, when a crime is committed, any of these security agencies, when tasked to do, that has the power of arrest. as many of my colleagues who are here, who are officers of court, know, any of them can effect the arrest. Our worry is that we should do it in a way that does not look as if there's some kind of Rambo star. And I have said it to the security agencies, time without number, whether it is the police, whether it is the NIB, whether it is the national security apparatus, whether it is the prisons, whether it is the fire service, that let's do this with professionalism. And let's not do it as if we are in a war zone. But as to the power to arrest, all the officers of court in this chamber know there are so many agencies that are empowered to be able to effect arrest. And if any of them have to effect an arrest, they will have to do it. I have been arguing that let's do it with a human face. Whether somebody is accused of armed robbery, whether somebody is even accused of murder, until the person by our constitution is proven guilty, that person cannot be treated as if the person is just guilty on just the face of it, and therefore we should treat each other with some human dignity. But as to the agencies that can effect arrest, it is not out of order to say that national security have gone, or NIB, that's National Investigative Bureau, or the police CID, or the police, MTTD, or any of the agencies effecting arrest is not an abnormal thing. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
When a lawyer is aggrieved with the service of a process, you file a search at the registry of the courts to find out matters regarding the mode of the service of the process. Where you sit, has any lawyer, especially in this matter, served you with a search answered by the court to the effect that the process served on the national security officer was not served by the bailiff of the court? Speaker, thank you. W.
Speaker, you see, sometimes we are impatient when matters come up in this chamber. Mr. Speaker, first of all, let me respectfully agree with you on the point you made that the respected colleague Abu Jinapo was out of order and to resume his seat. I mean, Mr. Speaker, flowing from what the leader of the House just said, I want to add my voice to what he just said by saying that our colleague was not in any way out of order. In fact, he wasn't rooting his submission on Order 1952. He was not coming under Order 1952. It was Order 1952 which Mr. Speaker ruled upon. And in fact, to enrich the jurisprudence of this House, I am aware that Honorable Habib Idrisu has filed a substantive motion under Order 127 to challenge the ruling of Mr. Speaker on this matter. And I don't know when the motion will be taken. But it was raised to cure this very important matter. Mr. Speaker, when we are interpreting our rules, we interpret by looking at procedure and prudence. Procedure and prudence. We look at them conjointly to enable us avoid absurdity in any conclusion we may arrive at. I am particularly happy that the respected leader of this House is getting closer to the earlier position of the minority on this matter. Because, Mr. Speaker, on the said date, the gravamen of that contention really was this House is empowered to determine the form. And we did so mindful of Order 201. We did so mindful of Order 201. But here we were, because we are a mighty few, and there's a super majority, We know what happened. I wouldn't want to repeat. Today, we are getting to the cul-de-sac. That cul-de-sac was created as a result of impatience. And he, the member, a respected lawyer who has been in government before, who knows the procedure, is this day drawing our attention to this important matter, that as we find ourselves, are we going to make commentary or debate on this matter? Mr. Speaker, this House is stopped from debating because, Mr. Speaker, even on that day, directed me not to debate, but I should make comments. Mr. Speaker, let us always be thinking about tomorrow. Whenever we set precedents that will tie our hands, we should remember tomorrow. Mr. Speaker, please, I would plead with you, because the respected majority leader has now put the application in proper perspective, that this application is not about 1952, and at least it is clear with us. I would pray that with your special leave, the applicant be allowed to mount his application, conclude his submissions, so that we can, as a House, make a determination on this matter. No, Honorable Kwame Agboja, I am not, the application was not rooted on 1952. As for that ruling by Speaker, nobody is attacking it. There is a formal motion to deal with it. But he is coming under 201, and he's laid the foundation through order 91. Is it 93 or 91? 93. So he laid that foundation to take oxygen from 93 to proceed. So, Mr. Speaker, now that there is clarity, especially from the majority leader, and I supporting that view, may you allow him to please make the application, unless there's something else.
Any attempt to hijack this House. I thought that was the essence of the clarity that I brought. The clarity that I bring to this discussion is that the issue is whether or not we should be commenting or we should be debating. That is the issue. Should we be commenting or debating? And I'm saying that let's not belabor the point. Order 1953 makes reference to commentary after 3 days. Now, Order 201 then makes provision, elaborate provision, for how to deal with the budget statement, and it says debate. Mr. Speaker, I don't know what your statement was. I don't know whether you said we are going to comment, and that is the basis for the statement. But if you look at item 9, you said we should go to item 9. Item 9 simply says statements. It doesn't say commentary or debate. It just says statements. Now, Order 201 tells us that we are to debate the statement. Oh, yes. Yes. So, Mr. Speaker, if we are coming under Order 201, and we discussed it this morning, that it should be commencement of debate. If we are coming under Order... Debate, yes. Additional matter that we discussed at pre-sitting meeting. Mr. Speaker, on the day that the finance minister presented the budget, he did not present sector by sector policy statements. And he indicated that the individual ministers will come to this house and present their sector by sector policy statements. So arrangement is being made on a daily basis to have the different ministers come and lead the commentary with a presentation of their sectoral policy statements. Then we can comment on it. So that is the arrangement that we are putting in place to take on board the statement made by the Minister of
Honorable
Finance.
Majority Leader, I believe if a minister...
I want to make this plea to the House. This issue about the budgets is all political. This House is the highest debating platform in our governance structure. If the understanding is that we should allow the comment to flow, I will plead with all of us through our leader that we should allow same to be observed. If we will take turn to be raising point of order to, then we should say so. As far as I'm concerned, the former Minister of Finance made that statement in context. And what has happened within the last 5 minutes is basically to distort the flow in his comment. Mr. Speaker, you see, it should never be said of the majority leader. Majority leader, it should never be said that you are now, distorting the debates. It shouldn't be said that this is being done by the majority leader, because since morning, from question trying to arrest a question, raising constitutional issues and standing orders and all that, now to Honorable Amin Adam, a very innocent soul. If point of order against some other persons, including myself, we will take it. But Honorable Amin Adams, a very innocent soul, he too is receiving. You let me carry all the sins, but not to an innocent soul. Mr. Speaker, please let debate flow.
Honorable members, let's make reference to Standing Order 123 2B and be guided accordingly.
Thank you all for watching. This is what I have for you today. And as Parliament has resumed, I'm following keenly, and I'll be bringing you any updates that comes from this 9th Parliament. So thank you for watching, and please kindly subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thank you for watching once again, and bye-bye.